Bioshock is arguably one of the best games ever created, mostly due to its overwhelmingly good story, cool atmosphere, and setting, as well as its graphical beauty. After completing it for myself for the first time not too long ago, I completely agree on all fronts and decided I would want to attempt to 100% the game. The Bioshock 100% will require 2 runs from us. We already have 30 out of the 65 achievements from our first time playing Bioshock, which I recommend watching, so we'll only need to get the remaining 35 in this video. To start, we need to load up the game in hard mode without a Vita chamber in order to get the achievement Brass Balls, and Seriously Good at This. Seriously Good at This is just completing the game on hard mode, and Brass Balls, on the other hand, is completing the game on hard mode without using a Vita chamber, which is like a respawn point. However, as long as you frequently save, you'll be okay, because when you die, you'll just load to your most recent save. While completing these 2 achievements, we'll try to get 90% of the other achievements, and 12 which are only completable within the challenge minigames. If you guys enjoy this video and are interested in similar videos, please consider leaving a like and a subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Please comment down below your favorite quote from Bioshock 1. And let's get started by loading into hard mode with no Vita chamber. We load into the game and are starting in an airplane, which ends up crashing. We enter the tower, go through the bathysphere, and enter Rapture. Being guided by our best pal Atlas, we pick up a wrench and inject ourselves with mysterious liquids. In the elevator, Atlas tells us that we need to save his family, and we agree to help. Going through the hole in the wall in the bathroom, we enter a theater with an LS and watch a BD give a Splicer a beating. We try to enter Neptune's bounty, but Andrew blocks the way, and we're forced to go through Medical Pavilion. Entering the Medical Pavilion, we make it through emergency access, and in order to open it, we must first pull the switch to unlock it. Hacking the turret and entering the next room, we find the emergency access exit. Going up the stairs, we flip the switch for emergency access, but a security system goes off, and we need to find an override switch to turn it off. We also need to find Steinman's key to completely override the door lock. We flip the override switch and head towards Steinman, taking pictures of all the splicers along the way. We go and kill Steinman in the surgery wing, but first we take research pictures. While doing so, we reach a new level on the leadhead splicer, which grants us a tonic. This tonic happens to be the last one we needed, and we had pretty much all the other ones from our previous playthroughs, granting us the tonic collector achievement. We grab our key off of Steinman and make our way back. We have to make a detour since the last path was destroyed. We see a splicer going after an LS, but then he gets shot. It's Tenenbaum, and she asks you to save the LS, while Atlas wants you to harvest it. We get introduced to the Gatherer's Garden here, where we can use Adam to buy more abilities. We head back and override the switch and prepare to go to emergency access. Now in Neptune's bounty, we need to get to Fontaine Fisheries to find Atlas's family. Entering Fontaine Fisheries, our way forward is blocked by a guy named Peach Wilkins. Peach asks us to find a research camera and take some pictures of the locals, then he will let us through. Leaving, we need to find our way to Sullivan's office. Upon finding Sullivan's office, we find a research camera on the desk. We take a picture of the spider splicers and look for the other ones for Peach. Moving forward to the hallway outside, we are able to fully research the leadhead splicer while fighting them, earning us the fully researched leadhead splicer achievement. We head to Jet Postal where we take a picture of a spider splicer for Peach Wilkins, then head back. We make our way back to Peach, but before we do, we get the achievement Prolific Photographer for taking a picture of something in every research group, and the achievement Fully Researching the Nitro Splicer. Peach lets us through, but we need to put our weapons in the pneumo first. We do so, and upon entering, he closes the gate behind us and begins to attack us, believing we're with Fontaine. We kill him because he's delusional and grab our weapons from the pneumo again. Going downstairs, we use the power to the people station and get ourselves the achievement for 5 fully upgraded weapons. We then leave the smuggler's hideout. Inside, Alice tells us that he needs help getting into the submarine bay, so we need to find a switch. Making it to the control booth, Ryan tells us that if we flip the switch, we'll truly be his enemy. We ignore him and flip the switch. However, this leads to a mess where Atlas gets ambushed by a bunch of splicers at the command of Ryan. Alice tells us to make a run for it. Moving towards the submarine bay, the sub explodes and Alice's family dies. Now, the goalpost has changed. We need to kill Andrew Ryan. To get there, first we'll need to head towards Arcadia. We then head to Arcadia. Entering Arcadia, we get told to head towards Rolling Hills. We continue on our way through, taking pictures of the locals and killing them, of course. This leads to us getting the achievement for fully researching the thuggish splicer. Heading towards Rolling Hills, Ryan tells us about this one time he bought a forest and the government tried to nationalize his property, so he just burned the forest to the ground. Andrew Ryan begins to try to kill Arcadia, and so it's on us to stop him. Headed towards Julie Langford, a doctor who made Arcadia's office, she tells us to find a rose for her Rosa Gallica, and she will let us in. We find the roses and begin heading back. We give her the rose and she lets us into her office. Moving forward, Ryan kills Julie as a result of attempting to stop his attempts to kill Arcadia. Through scrounging in her office, we find a journal on her body. In it, Julie talks about how she is going to make a vector to bring the trees back from the dead. We also happen to find another one of her journals in her safe where she outlines what are the components necessary to make this vector. We head out and collect all the necessary components in order to create the vector. Along the way, we get the achievement for fully researching the Houdini splicer and the achievement for inventing all ammo types, called Ammo Inventor. We enter the farmer's market in order to gather more ingredients. While here, we get the achievement for fully researching the LS as well as the Rosie. In the distillery, there is a Power to the People station where we maxed out our last weapon and got the achievement Weapon Specialist. We return to Julie's lab and create the Lazarus Vector, fend off waves of splicers, and save Arcadia. After doing so, we head towards the metro to go to Fort Frolic, and then we head to Fort Frolic. In the entrance of Fort Frolic, we lost communication with Atlas as he was drowned out by classical music. However, that didn't matter because something else caught my eye. A slot machine. Realizing the potential to win big, I spent a decent amount of time gambling. After about 5 minutes, I hit the jackpot winning big. And I only went completely broke one time, leading to one restart of the save. As a result, I got the achievement Lucky Winner for hitting the jackpot. Feeling confident with my earnings, I headed towards the bathysphere to Rolling Hills. However, we got stopped by a cosplayer and he wanted us to help with his art. We need to kill some fellas, take their picture, and put it in these frames, and we are good. We kill Iceman from Top Gun because he's really gone downhill, and take a picture of him for Cohen. Entering Rapture Records, we get firebombed and kill the culprit. We took his picture for Cohen and began looking for the last fella. Upon entering the bar, we begin to see things. We follow a ghost lady to a room behind the stage. As we enter, we get flashbacks of our family. Apparently, she had a kid with Andrew Ryan, who was taken by Fontaine and Dr. Tenenbaum in order for a science experiment. Oh well, I'm sure it's nothing. Leaving, we see a sad fellow drinking his life away at the bar. However, he is causing a scene as he also is a pyromaniac. So we kill him and take his picture for Cohen. We put all the pictures on Cohen's masterpiece, as he calls it, and he comes down the stairs applauding himself. He then allows us to leave, so we enter the bathysphere and head towards Hephaestus. Entering Hephaestus, Atlas tells us that we need to kill Ryan and get his genetic key for Rapture. Upon finding the entrance to Ryan's office, it's locked. Around us are the people that Ryan has strung up on poles, and he warns us that we are no different than them. So why do we think we won't end up like them? On one of the dead bodies, we find a journal that says if we can overload core number 3, then we can get into Ryan's office. So we head towards heat loss monitoring to figure out how to do that. In heat loss monitoring, we find a journal by Pablo Navarro where he talks about Kyber's workshop, which contains a clue to overriding Ryan's lock. On the way, Ryan begins to discuss the wild odds that it is of us appearing in Rapture. He builds a city in the middle of the ocean, and a plane happens to crash right where the city is. It has to be a miracle. Just some more gaslighting hogwash, am I right? We make it to Kyber's workshop where we find an EMP. Yeah, just a massive EMP and a journal by Kyber's discussing how to fix it. We set off to gather the components necessary. Along the way, we take pictures of the bouncers, getting 2 achievements. Fully research the bouncer and research PhD. For fully researching the bouncer and maxing out all possible research. Having gathered all the components, we reassemble the EMP and make our way to the core. We make it to the locking mechanism, and before opening it, we set up a perimeter. We then twist the machine until lava opens the door. I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist. Don't ask me. We head up to place the EMP, and as we do, Ryan asks if Rapture feels nostalgic for us. Ignoring his manipulation tactics, we place the EMP and run. After doing so, Ryan begins to ult, screaming at the top of his lungs that he will not die. Entering his office, he tells us that we're his greatest disappointment, whatever that means, before attempting to destroy Rapture. We crawl through a vent and land in a room with a cork board connecting individuals together, a journal with Sushong talking about how he genetically created a human to follow any command given to him with a key phrase and the words "would you kindly" in red cork board. However, all that's boring, and I'm on a mission to kill Ryan, so whatever. We finally get to see Ryan face to face, and turns out we were the kid being controlled by the key phrase. And after killing Ryan, we found out Atlas was Fontaine who was controlling us this whole time. So in reality, Ryan was right the entire time, and we probably should have listened to him. Oh well, the past is the past. What are you gonna do, am I right? Fontaine tries to kill us, so we follow the LS into a vent where we fall and pass out. We wake up and apparently Tenenbaum has rescued us. She had taken out some of the mind control features that Fontaine had put on us, but tells us that we also aren't fully free and we need to go to Sushong's office to find more clues. We head out to Olympus Heights where Fontaine tries to control us again but fails. However, he has a backup, Code Yellow, which allows him to slow our heart rate down. Making our way to Sushong's apartment, we stop at a UN vent where we get the Avid Inventor achievement for inventing at least 100 items. Upon entering Sushong's apartment, we find a journal where he says that Fontaine had contracted him to make a cure behind Tenenbaum's back, just in case. Tenenbaum tells us that a dose of this cure named Lot 192 is probably in Fontaine's apartment. Along the way, we take a pit stop to say hi to our old friend Sander Cohen. As he comes out to greet us, we kill him and take his picture. This grants us the achievement Irony. We go into his room and earn the achievement Found Cohen's Room. We find a journal by Paparazzi where he tells us the code to get into Fontaine's apartment. Going to Fontaine's apartment, we find a dose of Lot 192. But its side effects make plasmids uncontrollable, so we need to find another one. The next one will be in Sushong's lab, which is in Apollo Square. Entering Apollo Square, we make a dash for Sushong's lab, where we get the second dose of Lot 182 and cure ourselves. Now it's time to go to Point Prometheus and put it into this by killing Fontaine. As we do, Fontaine is shivering in his boots, and so he blocks our path and runs away. Being stuck behind this door, there's really only one way to get to him, and yep, you guessed it. Put on a BD suit, smell like a BD, and change your voice box to sound like that of a BD, in order to attract an LS and have her lead us through to Fontaine. Oh, That wasn't what you guessed? Well, well, you're the weird one. Anyway, we gather the pheromones, the pieces of the suit, and change our voice box. Along the way, we pick up the last journal we needed for the achievement, Historian, which means we have successfully gathered all the audio diaries in the game. Upon knocking on the vent, an LS came out and led us through the door into the proving grounds. After defending them while they gathered the Atom, they eventually led us to Fontaine. Meeting Fontaine, he is looks maxing using Atom, but took it way too far, and now he needs to be put down. Using a grenade launcher, Tommy gun, and crossbow made this fight fairly easy, and we kill Fontaine. This successfully got us the achievements Brass Balls and Seriously Good at This. After doing so, we're now finally done with the campaign of Bioshock. Wait, what? Oh. Oh no. Turns out after beating the game, you unlocked a new difficult setting called Survivor, and with it, two new achievements. A man chooses to beat the game on Survivor, and I chose the impossible to beat the game on Survivor without a Vita chamber. So let's load back into the game and do it again. So we load in, crash, enter the tower and the bathysphere. We listen to Ryan yap, Atlas yap, grab the wrench, and inject ourselves with fluid to distract from all the yapping. We then go to Neptune's bounty, get blocked, and head towards Medical Pavilion. We try to unlock emergency access, send off an alarm, override the alarm, and then head to surgery. In surgery, we kill Steinman and grab his key. We head back, override the system in order to get through emergency access. In Neptune's bounty, we listen to Peach yap, go take some pictures, return, and kill the fella, and then make our exit. In Smuggler's Hideout, we flip the switch, wish Atlas had died, watch a fireworks show, and go to Arcadia. In Arcadia, we get blocked from Rolling Hills, go to Julie, bring her some flowers, mourn her passing, make the Vector, and revive Arcadia. Then we head to Fort Frolic. In Fort Frolic, we watch Cohen's show, kill some fellas for his masterpiece, and then head to Hephaestus. In Hephaestus, we gather all the materials for Kyver's EMP, unlock the room to the core, blow it up, and go to Ryan's office. In Ryan's office, we learn that we are a slave, kill Ryan, use the key to Rapture, learn Atlas is Fontaine, and run away. We wake up having been saved by Tenenbaum, go to Sushong's room, go to Fontaine's room, and take lot 192, then head to Apollo Square for the second dose. In Apollo Square, we go to Sushong's office, take a second dose of lot 192, and head to Point Prometheus. In Point Prometheus, we get blocked, so we turn ourselves into a BD and follow a LS to get to Fontaine. We go up to Fontaine and kill him with the same combo as last time, granting us a man chooses, and I chose the impossible. Okay, now we're done with the campaign and for real this time. However, we're not completely done with the game. We still have 12 achievements, and that's because this game has challenges. Challenges are mini games that you can play. In them are roses you need to collect, you need to beat them in a certain amount of time, and you also just need to beat them in general. And each one has their own unique challenge as well, which I'll explain at their individual mini games. The first mini game we'll play is the Iron Team. Our first run will only have two goals that we're accomplishing, which are two of the achievements, Rescuer and Collector. In order to get Collector, it's impossible to do Pacifist, and likely difficult, if not impossible, to do Expert. So our first run is just to get used to the level, take our time, and complete it. To get Collector in this challenge, we need to find 4 roses scattered across the map, and for Rescuer, we just need to beat the level. We start in a hallway with nothing of value to point out. Entering the next room, we see a BD and an LS attempting to get through a locked door. We will need to kill the BD and rescue the LS in order to beat the level. There's also 2 crafting containers that have crafting material in them. One is on the top platform we can't reach at the moment, and the other is at the end of the hallway. Going in the next room, there's another crafting container to loot. On the desk by the dead fella is our first rose for this challenge. Entering the next room, there are 2 levers. One that works by opening a door on the left side, and one that doesn't, and is unable to be hacked without an auto hack tool. There's also a crafting container in here as well. Walking into the turret room, we notice you can jump below the beam, and going down, there's 2 more crafting containers. Alongside this, we see another platform containing a plasmid. Jumping across the platform by jumping on the frozen Rosie will allow us to get the plasmid for target dummy. This allows us to summon a target dummy that makes hostile targets targeted. After dying a couple times, I realize that there is a rocket turret above me. By placing a dummy in front of the machine gun turrets, the rocket turrets will shoot at it, causing them to kill the machine gun turrets, allowing us to get across. In the room on the left, we immediately find another crafting container. Continuing, we find another BD that is distracted and a pressure plate in the middle of the room. Using Target Dummy, we can make the BD go and stand on the pressure plate, opening the door in the back. Entering the next room, we find a crafting container as well as the plasmid for Winter Blast, which allows us to freeze an enemy. Going into the hall, we find another crafting container and open the door using the lever. Going into the main room we started in, we can use Target Dummy in the gap in order to attract the BD. Then if we freeze the BD, we can jump on it to get across to the platform and get our last crafting component. While in here, there's another rose we need to get above the door where the BD is attempting to get in. Freezing the BD allows us to jump on him and grab the rose off the ceiling, getting our second of the 4 Now going back to the room we got the first rose in, we can use the U invent to craft an auto hack tool with all the ingredients that we gathered from the containers and allow us to hack the other lever. Using that lever will make the BD run into the main room with the turrets. Using target dummy, we can kill the BD using the rocket turrets. Once he dies, we can pick up his grenade launcher and save because we have limited ammo. Using the grenade launcher, we can kill the middle rocket turret and then use a grenade to launch its body towards us. Looting it, we'll get the third rose. For the final one, we need to get the BD in the pressure plate room to stand on it again, then freeze it. After doing so, we can run back to the main room, and next to the window to the ocean, a panel opens up with the final rose. Now, finally, we rescue the LS, getting Rescuer and Collector achievements for the Iron team. For the next run, I attempted to do Pacifist and Expert. For Pacifist, we cannot kill any of the turrets to complete the level, and for Expert, we must beat the level in less than 3 minutes. It took me 17 minutes and 9 seconds to beat it the first time. After many runs, trials, and errors, I finally had a good run. We spawned in and bolted to the room with the first rose, collecting EV Hypnos and the crafting materials along the way. We pulled the lever for the second door and dropped down, and grabbed the target dummy. Going back up, we used target dummy on the beams in two specific locations in order to get across with little or no damage, then jump across where the machine gun turrets are shooting. We then grabbed the crafting materials, Eve Hypnos, and first aid kits, used the BD to open the door, grab the Winter Blast Tonic, Eve Hypnos, and crafting materials, attract the BD, freeze him, and jump across to get our final crafting ingredient. We go to the UN vent, craft the auto hack tool, and unlock the right door. And finally kill the BD. However, I accidentally destroyed a turret, meaning we can't get Pacifist. I decided I would abandon Pacifist for now in order to get Expert. We rescued the LS in 2 minutes and 43 seconds. We had to do one more in order to get the Pacifist achievement. I attempted to speedrun it just to get the challenge done. Everything was the same except I put the target dummies at the very end of the platforms that the BDs stood on in order to kill him. Surprisingly, I still did it in 2 minutes and 57 seconds, getting Pacifist and finishing the Iron team. Starting a shocking turn of events, we had the same initial goal: get Collector and Rescuer. To start, our goal is to die, so we do. By using the bathysphere lever to shock ourselves until we die. We respawn in a nearby room with a Vita chamber, and here we get a shotgun with an electric shell and some first aid kits. We pull the lever to go to the next room and shoot the shocking door panel with an electrified shell to open it. And here's a splicer trying to open the elevator. She attacks the button and gets shocked to death, but at least the elevator works now. Calling it up and jumping on top of it allows you to ride it to the top, collecting the first of the 10 roses located within this challenge. Also appears a button to get back down. I was supposed to ride the elevator all the way down, but I didn't. Instead, I jumped all the way down, went into the neighboring elevator shaft, jumped, looked in the gap, and grabbed the second rose. Now we need to ride the elevator back up and go down one floor. Here we could pick up the static discharge tonic, which sends out a wave of electricity when hit by a melee from enemies, as well as the crafting crate to loot. Finally, there's a trap bolt on the dead guy in the corner. These trap bolts will electrocute anyone that walks in them. Going down to the main level, we see a Ferris wheel. We'll need to turn this 9 times for Master Electrician, which is another achievement we'll need to get later. There's a stuck lever in the center, and to unlock it, you need to electrocute it. By doing so, you can turn the lever once, before needing to do it again. To rescue the LS, you need to do it 6 times, but for a Master Electrician, you need to do it 9. We grab the electrified buck sitting at the base of the lever and shoot it to get our first spin. We then attract a nearby splicer over to the panel, let it hit us, and get the second spin. After this, the bathrooms open up, so we can enter them to attract a second splicer to the panel to hit us for a third spin. Going back into the bathroom, we can also get some Eve Hypnos and another crafting crate. On top of the painting near the crafting crate in the bathroom is also our third rose. Leaving here, we go to Rapture Records, which is nearby. Inside is another crafting crate and some supplies. There is also a rose on the side of one of the closed gates, getting our fourth rose. Next, we need to go towards the Grand Carnival. At the entrance, there is another crafting crate, as well as the plasmid for telekinesis, allowing us to control things with our mind. Nearby is a vent for an LS. Looking inside, we can find our fifth rose. Behind the stall on our immediate left, we can find a room with a safe in it. Turning the knob will send out trap bolts. Using telekinesis, we can grab one from the walls, and we can move it so that the safe is electrocuted, unlocking it. Inside is the crossbow, and next to the safe is another crafting crate. Leaving, we grab a teddy bear from the stall and go to the stall across from us. There is some fire at the entrance, and so we set the bear on fire and use it to unfreeze the pipes at the back corner of the room. With this, we can pick up an auto hack tool and another electrified buckshot. We can also get our 6 rose that is stuck in the upper pipe. In this room, there's also another crafting crate that we can loot. Going to the next stall in the middle of the left side, jumping into the stall, and looking in the right barrel, we get our 7th rose. The next stall past this one on the left side is a bunch of balloons and a bunch of spider splicer hooks. Throwing the hooks at the bottom right balloon will pop them, but you have to hit it perfectly. On the inside, we find our 8th rose. On the dead splicer here, we find another trap bolt we can use. Going behind the big bear statues at the end of the hall, we see a dead guy with a chemical thrower and a crafting crate next to him. There's also a locked room here. We can open it using the code 1951. Inside is a splicer we lead back to the panel, electrocute it again, and get our 4th spin. So we also decide to go ahead and get the rest of our spins we had on us. So we shoot the panel with electrified buck and get our fifth spin. Using one of the trap bolts, triggering it, we get our sixth spin. And doing that again, we can get a seventh spin. Now that we have spinned it 6 times, the generator thing on the side blows up, exposing a rose on its side. This is our ninth rose. Backtracking to the room where we use the code to unlock, we pick up some supplies, loot a crafting crate, and find our last rose in the chandelier above us. Then we go back, rescue the LS, getting ourselves Collector and Rescuer. This next run, I only had one goal, Expert. I needed to beat this level in under 4 minutes. My first run took me almost 20 minutes, so we loaded in and died instantly. We grabbed the shotgun, electrified bucks, and the first aid kits. We shot the door panel, went through and ignored the splicer. We jumped down to the next floor and grabbed static discharge tonic as well as the trap bolt. We then jumped down again, grabbed the electrified buck. We shot the panel for our first spin. We attracted the first splicer over for our second spin. We attracted the one in the bathroom over and got our third spin. We then ran to the Grand Carnival, grabbed the telekinesis tonic, went into the safe room. Here we opened the safe with the crossbow. We grabbed the trap bolt off the dead guy and opened the locked room. We attracted the splicer back to the main room for our fourth spin. Finally, we used both of our trap bolts we picked up for our last 2 spins and rescued the LS in 3 minutes and 18 seconds. We had one more challenge to do, a master electrician, and boy was it difficult. Not because the challenge itself is hard, in fact it's really easy, but this challenge is so glitchy. Trap bolts didn't register as electrocution, the hack tool kept glitching and would not allow me to grab it, and I had to reload a lot for it to finally work. And the U invent kept glitching and wouldn't craft what I needed. You guys already know how to do it as I showed it in the first run, so I'm not going to go through it again, but we did eventually get it. The only thing I didn't show in the first run was me attempting to craft the trap bolts, but that's all that you need left. We are finally on the last and longest challenge, A World of Hurt. As always, we start off by getting Rescuer and Collector, but this time we'll also try to get Tough Guy. In order to get Tough Guy, you need to complete the challenge only using plasmids, tonics, and genes, as well as the wrench, and the research camera on a medium difficulty or above. This challenge is completely different than the others. It's not as much as a puzzle as the arena fighter challenge. The first thing we do is go through the only open door, a single splicer. Grab the wrench and enter the arena. Inside is just as it says, a single splicer, so we kill him. The first of the 8 roses is stuck between one of the only pillars in this level, so we grab it and go to the LS for our reward. Then we return to the lobby. We also buy wrench jockey, which increases the damage of the wrench. We then buy a lot of film for our research camera. After this, we head to the next room, a single BD. And here, once again, is as described, a single BD. But there's also a large pool of water that's electrified. We research the BD as much as possible before jumping into the arena. Once inside, we attack the BD and try to get him trapped into the pool of water. Once he's in the pool, we kite left and right around this pillar to the opposite side of wherever he is. If he's close to us and had fallen, then we also hit him with a wrench for extra damage. Unfortunately, mine did escape, but we were able to get him back in and defeat this level. In this level, there is another rose. There's a floor panel that had collapsed, and inside of the cracks is the second rose. We collect our reward and return. In the lobby, we buy Electrobolt 3, first aid kits, and Eve Hypnos. The next stage is Houdini splicers. We research them as much as possible through the glass and then hop in. We defeat some as we go down, but getting all the way to the bottom is the easiest way to attract them and kill them. After doing so, we go back to the floor with the health machine. We then go one more floor up and then jump to the platform below the stairs. Beyond a wood plank is the third rose. We then go get our reward and go back to the lobby. This time we bought Eve Saver, allowing us to not use as much Eve with plasmids, and Armored Shell to boost our damage resistance. We then buy more first aid kits and Eve Hypnos, and head on to the next arena, Spider Splicers. Once again, we research as much as possible, and then we go in. We use Electrobolt to shock them and remove them from the roof and then kill them. The rose in here can be found under the bench next to the Power to the People station, making that 4. We then get our reward and leave. This time, we bought more first aid kits, Eve Hypnos, and restocked our film. We then went to the next room, Security Maze, and in here there are about 4 splicers, 11 turrets, and 1 BD. We researched everything until we unlocked the auto hack on the turrets. Jumping in, we hacked all 11 turrets using Electrobolt, then we used them to kill the BD. Afterward, we find the rose hidden between a pillar, and that brings us up to 5 roses. We grabbed our reward and returned to the lobby. Here we bought Target Dummy, some Eve Hypnos, and some more film. The next arena is all kinds of enemies. Whereas the name implies, there are several different types of enemies, splicers, a BD, and a turret. We research them, kill all the splicers, hack the turret, and use Target Dummy to distract the BD as the turret kills it. However, we messed up. So we used Target Dummy, got a few hits off with a wrench, and then repeated until he died. The 6th rose can be found in the hallway behind some sandbags right next to the LS vent. We got our reward and returned to the lobby. Here we bought Incinerate, Eve Hypnos, and extra film. The next arena was security bots. We once again researched them as much as possible. Entering the arena, you'll be attacked by some security bots until you kill the splicer at the end of the maze. However, we use Electrobolts and research them until auto hack is unlocked. Then we hack 2 of them. We then kill the splicer, use Target Dummy, and the turrets to kill the BD. Back in the room where the splicer can be found, we melt the ice in the corner and get our 7th rose. We get our reward and make our exit. This time we buy more Eve Hypnos as well as Enrage. We then head to all kinds of BDs. We research everything before jumping in. By enraging the elite Rosie and letting it kill everything, we wipe out most BDs. When the elite Rosie was the last one remaining, we use Incinerate and kite the Rosie all around the map, letting it die over time to incinerate. Afterward, we pick up the final rose behind this piece of wood, next to the bench, by the vent. We grab our reward and head back. We buy lots of Eve Hypnos and first aid kits because we approach the glass to free the LS, but we get attacked once more. Waves of splicers come out that we need to kill. Then a mix of nitro and leadhead splicers, then spider splicers, then Houdini splicers, and then we get some splicers with some turrets, killing them and hacking their turrets. Finally, there's a BD that spawns aggroed. We kill them using the target dummy and our 2 turrets. We then head over to the glass, free the LS, unlocking Tough Guy, Rescuer, and Collector. There's only one more achievement for this challenge, and in my case, the final one for all of Bioshock. To complete this challenge in under 15 minutes. So we respawned on easy. We ran in, killed a single splicer, and grabbed our reward. This granted us access to all of our weapons. We upgraded our crossbow at the nearby station and went back to the lobby. We bought Wrench Jockey and Damage Researcher again, as well as 6 incendiary bolts for the crossbow. We went to a single BD, jumped down, trapped him in the puddle, and then killed him with the crossbow in the water. We then upgraded our crossbow again and went back to the lobby. We bought more incendiary bolts, Eve Hypnos, first aid kits, Electro Bolt, and finally Eve Saver. We ran to the security bot arena, jumped down, ignored the security bots, ran straight to the spider splicer, and killed him with the crossbow. We then went to the BD and switched between Electro Bolt and crossbow to kill him fast as it skips the animation that the crossbow has. We bought more first aids, Eve Hypnos, as well as shell armor, and ran to the turret maze. We researched the turret until we got the auto hack and jumped down. We went around and hacked all the turrets, killing splicers. We then used the same strategy on this BD as we did on the last one and went back to the lobby. We then bought Eve Leak, allowing us to restore Eve with first aid kits and more Eve Hypnos. Now was the Houdini splicers. This one was the most difficult as it's really up to if they want to teleport to you or not. I saved before dropping in to reload my time if it went bad. I took pictures until I got the first research level and then jumped down. I ran all the way to the bottom where I shocked and then killed them and returned to the lobby. We then bought more first aid kits and went to all kinds of enemies. In here, the strategy was straightforward. Electric Bolt and kill everything, and with a BD, do the same strategy with the crossbow that we had done before. We then returned to the lobby. We bought more bolts and went to the spider splicers. We researched everything for the first level and then dropped in. And here we used the Electro Bolt and then killed them with our wrench. After killing them, we went back to the lobby and bought Enrage and Eve Hypnos. We then went to all kinds of BDs, and here we enraged the Elite Bouncer and the Elite Rosie. We let them kill everyone, and as they were fighting each other, we shot bolts at the Elite Rosie. She killed the Elite Bouncer, and then we killed her, and we went back to the lobby. We then bought more bolts and first aid kits and ran to the glass. We used Electro Bolt and our wrench to kill everyone, and when the BD came out, we used our crossbow to kill him. We then returned to the glass and waited for it to drop. We rescued the LS and finished our challenge at 14 minutes and 20 seconds, getting the last achievement, Expert. And with that, beating all 3 of Bioshock's challenges, and now officially having all achievements for Bioshock Remastered. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It truly was a blast to make, and I'm trying my best to improve with every single video I do make, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the content. Please leave suggestions in the comments on some videos that you guys would like to see. These videos take an extremely long time to make, and they're really not easy to make. So if you enjoyed it, please consider boosting it in the algorithm by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. Thank you all so much.